Nintendo and Mario and Zelda have always had their share of fans and great games, and I happen to like those games as well. However, what about one of Nintendo's lesser known franchises? Starting out on the Game Boy, this video game character made his debut. This character is Kirby, making hit after hit. And during the Super Nintendo era, there was a last-ditch effort to make a great game for the Super Nintendo. This is Kirby Superstar, with great Super Nintendo graphics and a soundtrack for the ages. But is Kirby Superstar a great game, or is this game overrated and not aged very well? Let's find out on my review of Kirby Superstar. The history for Kirby Superstar started out in the middle of the Super Nintendo's lifespan in 1993. The development team really wanted to do a two-player beat-em-up-like gameplay, but with incorporating the new abilities that Kirby had in Kirby's Dream Land and in Kirby's Adventure. Also adding more various copy abilities, while utilizing the SA1 chip with the CGI effects and better graphics. The game was called Kirby of the Stars Active, however the name was changed after 3 years of development of the game. This game was released on September 20th, 1996, under the name Kirby Superstar. The gameplay for Kirby Superstar is pretty simple, but has some of its complexities. First off, you can pick a couple of different games in Kirby Superstar. As you progress, you get to play the next game. There's 8 in all. During the game, you can double tap on the D-pad to go faster and press B to jump. You can also hit Y to swallow enemies, and in doing so, there are certain enemies that have abilities in Kirby Superstar. This is going to be the best form of not only defending yourself, but defeating enemies and bosses in the game. Not only can you do this, and press A will actually make a helper for you. Utilizing these power-ups will really help Kirby, and there are about 25 of these. The first is being sleep. Kirby sleeps. That's about it. The second power-up is the sword ability. This ability makes it easier to attack, but kinda lacks on the defensive end. This is my second favorite ability in the game because Kirby looks like a Link and wields a sword. The third is beam, the most basic power-up and the most common in the game. You will shoot magic shots from a diagonal angle, but also you can charge the shot, which will send a huge blast of magic at enemies. The fourth ability is the ninja. Ninja allows Kirby to climb through walls, but that's really about it. It's kinda lacking the offensive department. The next ability is mirror. Kirby will attack with magic-like properties that are like a mirror. I love that Kirby can teleport with this ability. The next ability is ice. The ice allows Kirby to shoot ice particles at the enemy and also turn them into ice. The next ability is stone, a very defensive ability that only attacks from above enemies. The next ability is bomb. Bomb allows Kirby to throw bombs at enemies and also place them on their backs. The next ability is crazy. Basically, Kirby destroys everything on screen and can instant kill all bosses. The next ability is cutter, my third favorite ability in the game because, no pun intended, I love cutting down enemies down to size. The next ability is my favorite ability. This is plasma. You can move left and right and do a charge shot. However, if you're holding down the R button, you can move back and forth and not get hit, while also hurting enemies as well. This is stupid broken. The next ability is Mike. It has 3 stages, but it's mostly a screen nuke. Everything on screen dies really quickly, but it's kind of disappointing because it's only seen really one time in the game. The next ability is fire. This ability can burn enemies and also launch Kirby sky high with the rockets. Or burn him super bad. The next ability is suplex. There's nothing more satisfying in this game than picking up an enemy, throwing them down, and also stomping on them. Oh yes! The next ability is fighter. This ability is fun to smack enemies around. You also look cool with a headband. The next ability is hammer. Hammer allows Kirby to hit hard with certain switches. The next ability is copy, which allows Kirby to copy enemies without actually swallowing them. The next ability is yo-yo, my 4th favorite ability in this game. The ability is most satisfying as you have a string of fun combos to use in this game. The next ability is cook. If you're able to find one of these, which is super rare, you can convert enemies into food for Kirby. The next ability is my least favorite ability in the game, as I feel it is super hard to control. It's not that fun. This is wing. The next ability is wheel. Wheel makes it so that Kirby can go into the wheel, and I really love how fast you can go in this game. The next ability is paint. Another screen nuke, but you can really only get it from this one boss in Great Cave Offensive, so it's probably the rarest ability in the game. The next ability is jet. This feels like the wing, only Kirby has a motor on his back. The next ability is the starship. This turns Kirby from a platformer to a rail shooter. The abilities are really quite awesome in this game. The abilities are really the best in the series. The ideas really are interesting interesting, but it's not till Kirby 64 till the series hits its stride as far as abilities goes. The next thing as far as gameplay is the graphics. The graphics are bright and colorful, and I love them. The game is really accomplishing what it's trying to do as a 2D platformer, and the level design complements the graphics as well as the abilities. It's a certain contrast that I can appreciate a great deal. Also, the controls are really tight and smooth as well. There's not really a place and time where I don't feel out of control with Kirby. This game gets it all done and gets a 10 out of 10 with gameplay in my eyes. The music and sound is one of the best on the Super Nintendo. The music is upbeat and very energizing, while the sound very much complements the cartoonish behavior of Kirby, and the music really has a certain tone about it. I can't put my finger on it, but it just seems like the music is one of the best of all time, and HAL Laboratory's sound team really went out of their way to make a fantastic soundtrack in this game. For the music that you hear from the startup screen to the very end in the arena, the music will have you tapping your feet until the cows come home. There are a few different stories in this game because there's 8 games in one. Spring Breeze is a remake of the original Kirby Dreamland. Dreamland is in peril as King Dedede has stolen all of Dreamland's food. Kirby races to King Dedede's fortress where the final battle begins. After Kirby defeats King Dedede, he saves Dreamland from starvation. Dynablade is out to destroy the crops of Dreamland, and after beating 4 levels, the final battle ensues with Dynablade. After defeating Dynablade, the game ends with Kirby taking the kids for a flight, and the game ends with the credits ensuing. Racing with food. Yeah, that's about it. Kirby gets lost in a cave, and after deep exploration and coming full circle, Kirby leaves with not only a great adventure, but any riches you've come up with in the cave. It's a Metroidvania sort of game. It's not really my cup of tea in this game, but you get some cool items actually in this one. However, this is my least favorite game in the game. Kirby is trying to get onto the starship of the legendary Meta Knight. After getting blown off the aircraft, Kirby seeks the help of an old friend, Dynablade. After getting back on the plane, Kirby destroys the rest of the aircraft, and after reaching Meta Knight, the final battle ensues. After Kirby defeats Meta Knight, Kirby nearly escapes with only seconds left to spare. The game ends. This is definitely my favorite game in the whole entire Kirby Superstar pack. I love the dialogue at the bottom of the screen, and some of the characters are freaking hilarious in this game, and it's funny to see some of the dialogue between them. The sun and the moon are fighting, and a new character, Marx, tells Kirby he must go across each planet to restore the big machine Nova so that it can grant Kirby a wish. Unlike other games, this one will have to have you find abilities and use them. It's cool that you get your abilities by pausing and then picking them, but I really wish the copy ability was present here. After restoring all the planets, Marx steals the wish to take control of Nova and Popstar. Kirby fights Nova, and after defeating Nova, then he takes on Marx. The final battle ensues at this point. After Kirby defeats Marx, the game ends with Popstar in peace once again. I really enjoyed the story of this game. It's unique, and I love the final boss, and I really enjoy the rail shooting parts of the game. There are other games such as Samurai Kirby, Megaton Punch, and the Arena, but those games are really only mini games, so I don't really have much to comment on them as far as story. There's no real story to tell. The pros 100% outweigh the cons for the review of this game, as the pros are the graphics, music, sound, gameplay, and control. They're absolutely perfect, and it's really weird. I know that we've had 10s in the past, but this is a special kind of 10. Kirby Superstar is amazing, and I love it so. The cons are really only one thing, is that in Milky Way wishes you don't have the copy ability. I wish that it would have the copy ability in that particular game. Kirby Superstar is a great game. In fact, I feel like the game is a perfect example of how to create a platformer. And with other games like Super Mario RPG and this game, it really feels like the Super Nintendo's lifespan ended on a high note with these last few games at the end of Super Nintendo's lifespan. I give this game score a 10 out of 10. This is a masterful game and a perfect example of how to make a platformer. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next episode.